right, good morning everyone. We're about to start. If I could ask everyone to kindly take your seats. Rightio, good morning everyone. I hope everyone's feeling bright and everyone's bright and early this morning. Can't see if you're feeling bright, but in any case, I hope you're gearing up. For those attending here for the first time, I'd like to make you all feel very welcome. My name's Callaghan Tanda. I'm your Master of Ceremony for today. Firstly, of course, acknowledging our ministers responsible, the Minister for State Enterprise and Member for Hagen Open, the Honourable William Duma. Acknowledging, of course, our Minister for Information, Communication and Technology and Member for South Bougainville, the Honourable Timothy Masiu. Acknowledging our Chairman for DataCo, that's PNG DataCo Limited, Dr. Thomas Webster, and members of the board. Acknowledging Chief Paul Comboy, GCLOBE, Chief Executive Officer of DataCo. Acknowledging from Oracle, Regional Managing Director for Australia, New Zealand, and the Pacific, Mr. Stephen Bovis. Acknowledging the Vice President, Oracle Cloud Infrastructure, Australia, New Zealand, and the Pacific Islands, Carlos Cienfuegos. Also acknowledging the Vice President, Cloud Engineering, JPAC Oracle, Mohan Srinivasan. Acknowledging the Account Director, PNG and Pacific Islands Commercial and Enterprise Cloud under Oracle, Rajiv Krishnil. And acknowledging from PNG DataCo Limited, General Manager, ICT and Cloud Enterprise Solutions, Mr. David Mba. As members gathered here, I'd like to acknowledge the representatives from the United States Embassy, our representatives from the Australian High Commission to Papua New Guinea, and acknowledging representatives from the Embassy of Japan, our wider audience viewing on our respective platforms on YouTube and Facebook under the official PNG DataCo Limited YouTube channel and the PNG DataCo Limited Facebook page. Also acknowledging, gathered here today, the members of the private and public sector. Ladies and gentlemen, esteemed guests and champions of progress. Dabai namana, good morning, true, ohayo gozaimasu, and good morning. We gather here in the spirit of unity and shared purpose, poised at the threshold of this momentous occasion, a celebration of partnership, innovation, and boundless potential. In the rich tapestry of Papua New Guinea's journey towards digital transformation, today actually marks a pivotal chapter. A chapter defined by collaboration, vision, and unwavering commitment to excellence as we convene to celebrate the partnership between PNG DataCo Limited and the Oracle Corporation. We stand on this precipice of a new era, an era characterized by the transformative power of technology, the promise of progress, and the potential for prosperity. Like a rain-bearing cloud, as many have witnessed with the big cloud that's coming, hovering over a parched landscape, the partnership between DataCo and Oracle holds the promise of blessings untold. In a technologically parched land like Papua New Guinea, this partnership is not merely a collaboration, it is a harbinger of hope, a promise of abundance, and a blessing bestowed upon a nation in need. At the heart of this endeavor lies a vision.
Good morning, everyone, again. Today is our last day of seeing the big cloud coming. I'd like to welcome everybody again to this session, especially our viewers online in our social media pages, and also to our very distinguished guests today. I think who've been very active agents of digital transformation in your own various ways within your organization and also contributing to the nation. My talk this morning will be basically giving you a rundown on the relationship we will be having with Oracle, the partnership arrangements, just a high-level insight, and then also, why Oracle has been able to choose DataCo as its partner in Papua New Guinea. And then I think emphasizing on your importance in being part of this partnership in this journey. So I have the honor of introducing again, like I said, the big cloud, which is the partnership with Oracle. Oracle, as we understand, is an hyperscale cloud service provider in the world, very renowned for this business. They will explain in detail their partnership, their successes, their deliverables, milestones later on. But I think this morning I'd just like to set the tone for you who are in this room today and also online watching, why it's important for us to extend this partnership to you as well to be part of the journey for digital transformation in PNG. Why I'm saying this is we all have a common duty. The duty for us here is to, yes, probably most of you commercial entities out there is to drive profit for your shareholders, etc. But importantly for the country is to service the people of this nation. We owe it to the people of Papua New Guinea, and we are now at a stage where we have enough technology that is around the world to be able to bring services to them in an efficient and effective and affordable way as much as possible using technology. So with that, the challenges that we face together is enormous and it's unique to Papua New Guinea. And we know that we cannot do this alone, so we are inviting you now to be part of this journey with us. So that means we need to look at technology to be able to, deliver services, maybe business to business, government to business, government to citizen. That's what we are looking for. Solutions that can help us deliver our services in a more efficient and effective way, and of course, cheap. For DataCo, we have been around and looking for partnership in expanding and delivering data center and cloud services to the people of this country. We are 100% owned by the state, and we have a duty not only to provide services to the government, but also to the private sector as well. In our sets, we've been able to deal with a number of hyperscalers around the world already. And I think this is one of the hyperscalers that we've come across that fits our requirements, expectations, and also the goal of this country, and in line with some of the existing plans and legislations and even strategies put in place already, including policies. So that's why we decided to firm up an MOU with Oracle to explore the possibilities of them becoming a firm partner in this long-term journey for Papua New Guinea. Oracle, as we all know, are very popular in terms of computer technology, engineering computer technology, database software engineering, and also looking at cloud engineering systems now, and more so enterprise solutions for you commercial entities out there who knows how best to utilize it. So that is the reason why we went about and partner with Oracle as well. But more so is their intention to invest in this country. They are coming in to invest, and not only as a partner to provide us services, but invest in terms of their funding to help us build our infrastructure, as well as, importantly, training and capacity building for this nation. Why they are doing this? Because they understand two important things. Is that cloud services or data center services should be a thing that is controlled by each nation and customized and tailored to our requirements and our needs. So they want to make it sustainable. That's why they included the training component and the capacity building as well. that's an additional and on top of just bringing in the infrastructure, which is very, very valuable for our purpose, especially as a developing nation who is now looking at technology and learning from the others to be able to prosper our nation. So that's the main reason why we decided to partner with Oracle. And we need you to be part of this journey as well and be our partner to make this possible. We can't do it alone. So I'll explain a little bit now about the arrangement. It's in this diagram here, very simple. Oracle, as you know, the Oracle Alloy product is one of their products that we feel that it suits our requirements and our current policies and legislation. The underlying reason is that it is very, very dedicated, and it gives us the ability to be sovereign. It protects our data, we have the privacy, and also it secures it very, very well. That's why that product is very, very important for us to really pursue and explore to bring it into the country, according to our current legislation for government cloud in the country. It will involve a partnership, like I mentioned already. They're interested in that, and they've decided to choose DataCo. I'll tell you why later on. And then, of course, it involves users. Otherwise, we'll build in an infrastructure and there will be no utilization of it. And that's why you are important and you are going to be a partner of this. Some of you are already using their platforms anyway. All we are saying now is for you to revise your plans on how you are trying to invest in digital infrastructures or systems, and look at how we can be able to help you in that space while you focus on your core business. In delivering that alloy product in PNG, there is at least 4 phases involved. Okay, I'd like to say 2. One is basically what we have already commenced on in MOU, the planning phases, understanding the demand, the workload, what is the uniqueness in our country, how is it different, how are we going to tailor the rollout. That's what we are doing now. That's why they are here to discuss this with us. And also tell us what they have to offer. So you also tailor your plans and give us the information that we require to be able to properly plan out the system that is required in this country. So we invest properly. That's the first phase. And then, of course, we'll do the rollout. It will take at least a year of that, putting in the infrastructure together, the software behind it. The beauty about the alloy system and Oracle is that, you can, and they'll tell you about it, it's very, very flexible. You can use other, platforms, softwares, even your applications you've already innovated in and are using now on top of that system. Not necessarily their software. So they come, end-to-end, infrastructure as a service, software as a service, platform as a service, but you can also use yours. That's the beauty about the Oracle Alloy product. And it's the same everywhere in the world. In US, in Australia, in UK, in Japan, they'll tell you more. Yeah. And some very, very high-profile users of their Alloy product already that is out there. So it's nothing different, nothing less from what is out there. It's just making sure that it's in PNG now for our purpose. So while we are doing the rollout, we can do things in parallel, setting up our teams. Those who want to come on board immediately, we can start to use the Oracle cloud that is out there now for them, and then you can easily be able to, migrate you across when the infrastructure is in country. Over the last 2 days, we have spoken to certain key partners, stakeholders, already users, who have already, come forward and indicated that that's what they are willing to do now. Even commence the training as well and the capacity building right away. So this arrangement is also about capacity building as a service as well. That's at the cost to Oracle. I know some other hyperscalers, they will charge you for that. These are the benefits and the value that Oracle brings to this partnership, and we're extending it out to you as well. Number one is security. Security is, as we know, everything going on the cloud, people are really worried about the security of the data, all these cyber attacks that are there. So Oracle has learned a lot in their journey as well. And that is why they have this very different approach of dealing with people like us, who have these expectations on putting security number one. So they build all their other pillars on top of a security-based, foolproof system to be able to make sure that the data of whoever their partners are is really, really private and secure. Of course, reliability is another issue. So when they bring in Oracle Alloy, they don't intend to just, station an infrastructure in Port Moresby. It comes with certain requirements. That's why they're doing their due diligence on DataCo for that. Can we meet those requirements? Where is the DR site? Do we have enough physical infrastructure to protect the site itself? Is it up to standard? So those things we are going through now. That is why they are here. So they want to make sure that, the service they offer, and for us here, being in the forefront, driving this thing is reliable and accessible all the time, and it's available. And of course, it should be cost effective. We've done our due diligence. You can do your own. I think most of you using it also is because of its cost effectiveness. We are impressed with the pricing on some of their, scalable offers, services that comes with the infrastructure. It's very, very cheap. And indeed, we will give you that benefit also and pass on that reduction in cost to you. And like I mentioned, capacity building as a service comes at their cost. They're investing in it. Yeah. Innovation. They've started innovation already. They've been in the database system for a while. It was in the initial core business. We know about Oracle because of that. So now they just added a little bit more onto it with technology. And so they're into AI and stuff like that. I think most of you entities out there now will want to use those type of technology to help you make decisions. Be informed, drive innovation again for yourself, and also, technologies that you're trying to use. So that's very, very key. And of course, it's scalable and flexible, like I mentioned already. They won't come here and just build a very big infrastructure from day one. They will work with us, understand us what we need now, and then slowly build it up over time. Okay. So they are here for the long run. And of course, it needs to be compliant, of course. Compliance with, ISO standards, other various standards that are out there already. And that's the good thing also. That will help us achieve our dream, or accelerate, achieve our dreams much more quicker. Yes, so why DataCo? DataCo, we've been in the business for 10 years now, initially as a wholesale transmission business, and then slowly realizing the need of digital infrastructure. We adapted to, of course, the current trend in the industry. And now we are looking at digital infrastructure systems, so not only transmission but also computing as well. And moving into the last mile access, making it more accessible. We still understand some of our challenges here in terms of transmission domestically, I mean. Getting most of our people connected throughout Papua New Guinea is not an easy job. We still don't have it right. But at least from the backhaul point of view, we are connected to already 21 provinces out of the 22 with fiber, and now approaching 46 districts out of the 96 now. I think by the end of this year, we should at least reach up to 50 districts with fiber. The rest are with satellite. And with the introduction of LEO satellite, I think it will help us to be able to roll out more satellite to areas where we can't penetrate through fiber at this stage. We will continue to work on the resiliency of the network as well, build the resiliency domestically and also internationally. That's also part of our plan. And of course, why they are here now is expansion of our data center. We've got a data center here since 2020 operating, but been very difficult to get the uptake and utilization. And we can understand why. We can't do it alone. And most people really don't understand, what is cloud technology as yet. So the adoption was slow, but I think we're getting there now. We're seeing it picking up, and that's why Oracle is also in the country now to help us accelerate that, working with a big partner, and then get everybody on board quickly. And all of us together with your own objective, plans, dreams, partnering with the right digital partner will get you there. And of course, we have been a good team, We've been together for a while, very dedicated, committed staff, passionate about what we are doing for the country. And that has resulted in us, achieving a lot of milestones, including, becoming one of the best performing SOEs in 2020 to 2023. So we've also achieved the recognition from DICT already. We're now partnering closely with them, and they've already named us, listed us as one of the local company in PNG that can offer to government especially cloud services and private government private networks. So we're there already on that front as well. So those of you who are government out there, you can now come and approach us and use our network and data center services as well. And of course, we've been in compliance with, like I mentioned, ISO 9000, etc. We've been pushing that boundary. And we're very grateful that now with Oracle also, they'll take us to the next level in that endeavor as well. And Oracle, like I said, did their due diligence. So they looked at us. We had that 15-year master plan already mentioned. It's out there now for the rollout of our infrastructure, digital infrastructure. But it's also in line with the Digital Government Plan Act policies that are already in place, and importantly, the MTDP4 released last year. So we are in sync with that. It makes it easier for that collaboration and coordination when we are trying to drive digital transformation in a country. So that is one of the main reasons why we were also picked through their own due diligence, invited us to be their partner in PNG for the alloy product specifically. Okay. So that's the reason why DataCo is in this partnership, and we're extending it out to you now to be part of this journey with us and make this thing become a reality together. So that brings me to the end of my presentation. I won't bore you anymore. I'll allow Steve and Carlos and Mohan to come up, give us some detailed insight now on, what they can be able to offer in this partnership, to you especially. You will be the one who will be benefiting from it. And then making sure that our people, the ones who deserve better services, the citizens of this country, to be able to benefit from what we are doing here. So, again, I want to remind you, what you are doing is not only for your company. The responsibility to this nation is our responsibility, okay? All of us together. So let's give it back to our people, and it can only be done through this strategic partnership. So we owe it to the people, and let's give it to them. With that, I'd like to thank everyone, and hope you enjoy our last day today here. Thank you.
Introducing the Big Cloud. PNG DataCo is proud to deliver the first hyperscale data center infrastructure and cloud solutions in Papua New Guinea. The Big Cloud is coming. PNG DataCo. Yes, you'll be covered.
So good morning, everybody. Thanks so much for joining. I must say that I'm really pleased to be here in Papua New Guinea. We've been here now for a couple of days, and I've had a fantastic opportunity along with DataCo and the Oracle team that's here with me today to meet a number of customers, both commercial and also public sector, and also spend some time with the ministers as well. So I'd really like to thank DataCo for having us here, and certainly I think we've got a fantastic opportunity to work together collectively as DataCo, Oracle, alongside the PNG government and industry to really truly do something special here for the people of Papua New Guinea. So I'm going to spend a couple of minutes today, just give a little bit of a high-level overview and recap on some of the messages that Paul spoke to in terms of what we're doing together collectively. And then what I'll be doing is handing to other members of the Oracle team to take you through a little bit more detail. And then I was going to confess I'm a Bulldog supporter, but that's already got out into the public. So I will be on a flight on the way back tonight when they're playing Penrith. I'm not sure how well they'll go, but that'll certainly be a testament to see whether or not they are back as a team in the NRL. So one of the things that we... clicker's not working. Can you please advance the slide? Thank you. No. Could I get the slide advanced, please? Thank you. It's not moving forward. No. Don't know what they're doing. I need a slide. Let me kick it off anyway. So one of the things that we looked at and felt that was really important as part of our overall assessment was to understand what the PNG government were doing in terms of their commitment to digital transformation for Papua New Guinea. There we go. And if you look at the actual plan, which is effectively a multi-year plan, is it really pivots around what we would say a number of different sub-segments, but at the centre of that is digital infrastructure, and that's everything from networking to hosting services. And then around the other segments, you've got everything from a very big focus around cybersecurity and privacy, which is absolutely critical. How does the government improve overall digital skills, drive a country of innovation and entrepreneurship, bring together digital government, and then also as part of that make sure that there was strong financial inclusion across PNG and the people of PNG. So as we went through our assessment in working with DataCo, is that it was really critical for us to make sure that we were able to align to the overall transformational plan and digital plan in terms of what the country is trying to achieve. And if you look at each of these areas from the centre core all the way through to these sub-segments, is that our plan is very much to address all of these areas, and with the centre being our cloud product along with the connectivity and networking is sort of the core of that overall strategy that we're working on. And our commitment revolves around three particular areas. So number one is around the technology itself. And as you've heard Paul speak to before, is the technology is all about bringing a high performance, highly available, highly secure and a distributed cloud platform to PNG. And the way that we do that is in a phased approach where we have access immediately, or the people in PNG, from both a business and people point of view, have access to public cloud technology today. And as we work through this program, which will take around 12 months, is that we will then have what is referred to an alloy product with redundancy here in PNG. And that platform will effectively be the same as any other cloud platform that we have around the world. The difference being is the data will be resident here in in Papua New Guinea. So very much having that data sovereignty here in country. Outside of that, our commitment is in a couple of other areas. It's not just about the technology, it's also about the people and the process and making sure that we invest in terms of making sure that we're investing in other areas. And one of those areas is in terms of skilling and also training and also certification. So what we'll be doing is that we have an organisation within Oracle, which is called Oracle University, is that we're actually bringing that, which is a digital-based platform, which can be supplemented with face-to-face training or instructor-led training, is we're actually bringing that to PNG to actually kickstart that process to start to increase the amount of skills and experience around digitisation. And the way we do that is actually twofold. So number one is around skills around the platform itself, which is going to be absolutely critical, but also building capability in terms of what we believe will be long-term requirements around jobs that will be required to continue for PNG to continue to transform from a digital perspective. And yesterday we had the opportunity to meet with a number of the universities, and they're very, very keen to come on board and start to help us promote this platform so we can start to increase the overall skilling, and likewise with the government. The other area that we're working on is bringing our global scale as a very large software cloud vendor in the marketplace into PNG, and working closely with customers here and also with DataCo to actually bring that capability from thought leadership, best practices, and we also have a COE, or a Centre of Excellence, which you'll hear a little bit more about in terms of some of the capability that we can help bring forward. So really the way we look at this is pretty much the journey starts today. So I've spoken a bit about the education partnership. I've spoken about training and certification and making this platform available. Centre of Excellence. And then finally, is whilst it will take us a little bit of time to actually build and have the sovereign cloud capability, or our Alloy platform operational here, is that we can work very closely with industry and with government to start to use our public cloud services, and then at the appropriate time we can move those workloads back. So it really helps start getting this process started. So with that, what I would like to do now is hand to Carlos, who's going to take you a little bit more detail in terms of what we're actually doing. So thank you.
Thank you for that. Good morning, my name is Carlos Cienfuegos, and I lead the cloud business for Oracle Australia and the Pacifics. Today, and these last few days, is a momentous occasion for the people of Papua New Guinea. Whilst we're talking a lot about what government and PNG, government and Oracle are doing together, it is very important to understand that what we're doing together with government also helps the broader community, broader industry, all the startups, and the youth of PNG. By enabling the digital government plan, we would lay the foundations together with DataCo to deliver a trustworthy platform for all your compute requirements, all your cloud initiatives, and all the future dreams and ideas that you have today. Commercialization opportunities, new digital services to citizens, new platforms for students to learn on, healthcare, lots of innovation. The platform itself is a multi-tenant platform, fully secured by Oracle. It delivers government-to-government services. It will help you with government-to-business, and more importantly, government-to-citizens. Yesterday, when we spoke to other parts of the industry, there was a huge demand for digital services for your customers as well. Digital services are underpinned by technology such as identity, payment services. That's what cloud can deliver for you. That collection is what's going to spur the development and the ideas within the PNG people. At Oracle, we don't believe that a cloud should be one monolithic thing that it's overseas. We believe that the cloud, and what we're seeing as an industry trend, clouds are distributed nowadays. Customers have multiple cloud offerings already. They're consuming multiple cloud vendors. But more importantly, governments and customers are requiring cloud in-country for sovereignty reasons, for latency reasons, and more specifically to develop local solutions for the local people. At Oracle, we believe that the cloud should be a platform where you can just start delivering solutions today. And you can do that with Oracle in public clouds, in our private clouds, and in our local clouds here with DataCo as well. OCI covers all aspects of the customer's workloads. At Oracle, we are very famous for our database. And PNG, you guys have embraced our technology for many years. But that also means we've also been securing data for over 47 years. We are famous for our enterprise skills, famous for our enterprise knowledge of infrastructure-heavy workloads. But we are also very, very, very popular nowadays in terms of AI and machine learning. The large language models, the large language providers, NVIDIA and others, are developing the solutions on Oracle, and I'll talk about that later on today. But what's common across all the workloads is security. And you'll hear us talk about security, security, and security. It is the most important element. Now, you can't have too much security, and equally, you can't have too much performance as well. So performing a performance cloud means it's also a low-cost cloud. When you subscribe to cloud services and you pay by the minute or by the second, the faster things happen, the lower the cost is. In flexibility, there is not a one-size-fits-all model. We don't give, I can't wear Mohan's suits. I need to have my different clothes. And likewise, different workloads require different shapes. And the flexibility is what cloud should deliver. And others, unfortunately, don't. I'd like to give you an example here of what is possible on a very different perspective. Forestry management, ability to work with industry, ability to work with natural resources, and ability to work with researchers. Here, you'll see how we are mapping the leaves on trees and helping broker that forestry management and environment protection with Oracle Cloud.
We have to produce timber in a sustainable way, but also provide the wide array of services, hunting, clean water, clean air. Smart Forest is a center for research-based innovation. The center basically is a collaboration between research and people, private companies working within the forest sector. Our mission is to improve the efficiency of this sector, but the forest ecosystem is under pressure.
There's on one end the foresters, they want to cut the forest. On the other end, the more biology-oriented people that don't want to cut the forest, we should leave it.
You have to ensure that the decisions you make today are not only good today, but also for the future. What we have in Smart Forest is we have all these sensors that collects data that can be on drones, or on backpacks, or on machines, or on cars, on people. Oracle is the brain behind all this. So it receives all the data from the sensors, organizes it, runs artificial intelligence to get actual insight.
So the idea is to get this data from the forest into Oracle Cloud, and then from this being able to make better decisions to manage our forest more sustainably.
We're using autonomous database for storing all our data, and we're using Apex built-in and autonomous to basically build the interface and the glue between the different components in the system. We receive in a large amount of data, and then we run a data science job, which spins up its own machine with GPU that applies the AI. So we basically use the system on demand through data science. And that gives us a very nice scalability and a quite cost-efficient solution for doing this.
Together with Oracle, we've been working on this cloud solution, which aims at bridging the gap between users, researchers, and allowing users to get advanced analytics about their forest.
It helps us both increase the health of the forest, the production that you get from the forest, and protect the environment.
We could show you hours of different use cases here, but what I'll ask you to do is to dream. What are some of the opportunities and use cases you can deliver to your organizations, to your end users, to your students? The technology you see here is what Stephen mentioned, your end users will be able to learn in PNG free of charge through the DataCo education program. Now, having a solution that's high performance, and as I mentioned before, without rail guards, safeguards, doesn't help the economy. From an Oracle perspective, the full stack of cybersecurity capabilities will be available within the DataCo cloud. This is because we are leveraging the same cloud technologies that every one of our customers and partners around the world are using today. From the largest of largest organizations, the banks, the major league teams, EPL for those who follow football, all use this technology. And for those who like Formula One, you'll see that all the technologies also be used by Oracle, by Formula One customers as well. But that whole security stack encompasses everything from the internet, the edge, monitoring your environments, your network, your computer, your storage systems, and your databases. And this capability will be here in DataCo and in PNG. This is how we are bringing the elements into the plan and into digital services that government and industry are going to build. Now, by bringing these services to the platforms, we can start to together jointly deliver AI solutions. We can start to deliver zero-trust network environments and services for your applications and for your environments. What I'd like to do now is I'd like to invite Mohan to talk to us about the ideas and the concepts of what will be possible for government and industry here in PNG. Mohan, take us through.
Thank you, Carlos. Can you hear me? Yep. Morning, ladies and gentlemen. So I'm going to say something that I said in the yesterday's session, 2 days, right? And by the way, today is not the last day. Today is the beginning of, the journey, yeah? So, but I'm saying this not because I'm reading it from a script. It's because it's truly what I feel coming here to PNG. 3 weeks ago, I didn't even think in my wildest dreams that I'd be visiting PNG. Yeah, and in the vein of three, I just knew 3 things about PNG. 1, beautiful country, very, very warm people. 2nd, rugby is the passion. And unfortunately, I need to learn a lot more rugby because I don't know. So I support all teams, by the way. I'm neutral, rugby neutral, right? And the 3rd thing is PNG plays cricket. That got me going. I've got cricket in my veins, right? So yeah, absolutely. But the real reason was 3 weeks ago, and thank you, Carlos, for inviting me to that meeting. So Carlos was in Singapore because we had a Cloud World event, and our CEO was there. And we had the privilege of meeting the PNG delegation, Dr. Thomas Paul from PNG DataCo, and David, of course. And then we had the Secretary of ICT, Stephen Maitanaho. And I think when we listened to what their vision was of how they want to turn PNG into a digital nation, that got me going. So I said, okay, let me now do a little more reading. Standard thing, we all go to our favorite search engine, Google mostly. Now we have Bing or whatever. But what we have developed in the Center of Excellence, we have an AI conversational agent. Like Carlos was talking about AI. And AI is something that you're all going to use in everyday, stories. So what I said was, okay, could you get my slides up, please? Yeah. So what I said was, let's take some data that's there about PNG, feed it into the conversational assistant that we have, and let me look at it and say, what can I learn from it? So we've got a bunch of videos, documents, and everything about PNG. And we said, look, let's talk to the data. So my first question was, can you summarize from all the information you have the vision that the Prime Minister has for PNG? And it is a beautiful vision. It talks about inclusivity. It also talks about the pride, because PNG wants to be a beacon for other countries in the region on digitalization. And that was what inspired me. And I said, let me look further and say, what are some of the key themes of digital transformation in the PNG policy documents? And lo and behold, security, big one. And obviously things like financial inclusion, and more importantly, entrepreneurship, right? And finally, the most important question, how do I get there? I've got an Indian passport. I need a visa for everything. Trust me. Yeah? So I said, okay, let me query the conversational agent. And again, I got information on how to go to the visa website. And there's an online application process. And thank you to the government for obliging me. I got my visa on time. Almost didn't get here, which is another story. But I got here yesterday morning, and I'm very, very delighted that I could make this trip. So that's really why the purpose, because there is a lot of purpose in this visit. And this is something that's going to go from strength to strength. And I think we're all going to be part of it. Yeah? So my name is Mohan Srinivasan. I run the Center of Excellence for Asia Pacific, a team of very technical people working with our stakeholders, customers, partners, internal organization, sales and engineering, bringing you the expertise to bring all your solutions onto OCI. And that's what we do. We're a plain and simple technical team. Now, let's switch gears a bit because you're going to talk about this term called DPI, and I'll talk about what it is. But the whole concept of how do we digitalize customers, or in this case, countries. Yeah? In the past, there were different approaches. There was the government saying, I can do all of these things, and let me go out and build these big enterprises, and we'll do everything. And there was a private sector saying, oh, government is too slow. We're going to go and change the country. Right? I think what has now fundamentally changed, and that's it's a significant fundamental change, is the fact that governments have realized that they can't do everything and they shouldn't do everything. And private sector has realized that they can't do it all either. So there's this really, really unique concept of what is called a digital public infrastructure, where both governments and private enterprise come together to go out and change the lives of everyday people in a way that nobody could imagine before. And we'll talk about that in a bit. Yeah. So, there's this official, and there's lots of definitions on what DPI is. DPI stands for Digital Public Infrastructure. And there's different definitions, but let's not get bogged down by definitions. Right? DPIs have existed for a long time, as in the concept. And one of the most quoted ones and the most popular ones, GPS. GPS was developed by the US military for obviously defense purposes. But then somebody came and said, look, this has to have a lot more wider implication than just defense ourselves. So GPS became available for what is called public good. And just imagine our lives today without GPS. Right? So that's the concept of taking something that maybe started off with a different purpose, but making it available for public good. And digital public infrastructure is just like that. In the past, governments were always focusing on physical infrastructure, roads, networks, telecom infrastructure, and so on and so forth, dams. And that was all heavy capital expense. But what has changed there is, as the world moves into the digital age, how do you take your citizens along? So the analogy is just the same. Just like what the government did with rails and roads and all of that, which is physical infrastructure, which enabled economies to grow and expand, they're doing it in the digital world. And we'll talk about some of those fundamental layers. So in your minds, it's very simple. Think of digital public infrastructure as digital platforms enabling economies to go reap the benefits. And we'll show you enough examples of what they are. But physical, roads, rails, telecom infrastructure, digital, identities, payments, and many more. And we'll talk about that. Yeah. So like I said, definition is the definition, and that's really what it is. And this is something that is a worldwide effort by governments collaborating, sharing, giving, and learning all together. And this is all tied to the broader goals of the United Nations, which is the 17 SDGs, or Sustainable Development Goals, that is there, things that are vitally important for the growth of the country. Elimination of poverty, good health for all, and you have all of these SDGs defined. And this is what school children are learning today, how our country is moving. So DPIs are very, very, very aligned to what SDGs do. Okay, and we'll again give some examples. Now, the really good thing about this is that this is not new for PNG. Many, many countries have adopted this, which means there is a lot that PNG can learn from. But it is also very, very important that PNG defines its own journey. You can learn from others, you know what the risks are, you know what the process is to do, but ultimately, what matters is what is needed for that particular country implementing these DPIs. Yeah? So in this case, if you look at it, digital identities, it's a very, very foundational thing. Who am I? That is what the question is. And that is there in the form of a digital identity or a national identity. And that sets the foundation for everything. If I know who am I digitally, I can just use it for multiple things, right? I can say if I have to be verified, I'm going to apply for a loan in a bank, I need to be verified. I don't need to physically go to the bank. I can just say, hey, bank, use this platform. It can just call an API in software terms, and the API will come back and verify in you and say, yes, Mohan is a citizen or Mohan is not a citizen, and that's it. And the bank can then take that information and, they do not worry about the verification process because it's a nationally verified identity, right? So now, as you get into this concept, everything is digital. What exists in the physical world today, I have a physical ID card. All of that is digital. And the moment it's digital, all of us as professionals, what you can do with digital technology, right, is make use of it in different matters. So identity is a very foundational building block, and this term building block means software platforms that can be assembled and interoperable, and we'll talk about that. But again, this has been done in many countries. India started its process in 2009 with this digital ID called Aadhaar, right? Today, Aadhaar is used by 1.4 billion people, right, or 1.3. So a few more left to go. 97% of the country is covered, but that's a lot. Yeah? Second thing is payments. Again, payments is something that is so foundational that has transformed economies. Imagine when you have digital payments, and you can see it for real when you go out to many countries. People who would be afraid to go to a bank because they couldn't speak the language or they couldn't read a form, they didn't know how to fill it out. All they do now is scan a barcode and boom, a QR code, and payment is done automatically. And it is also linked with something that is very, very important, the ability for every citizen to have a bank account, right? Why? Because when you have a bank account, you eliminate middlemen in the process, the middle person, okay? Which leads to things like corruption. So if there's a benefit that a state or a center is sending it to its citizen, there's a direct transfer into the bank account. Yeah? And there's transparency, there's accountability, and there's clear benefit. And this happened during COVID when millions of people could not go out and they were daily wage earners, yet they had a bank account. So the government could transfer subsidies directly into those bank accounts. Imagine the power of that. So digital payments is another one. Again, this is used extensively. Brazil has got a really good system called Pix, who does it. India has got UPI. And you can see the impact. You can go to any of these countries and you'll see street vendors. All they do is have a mobile phone, and if you offer them cash, they're going to look at you and say, what's wrong with you? Are you doing something funny, right? So that's how it is. And I'm not kidding. That's really what it is. And health, again, big one for for governments, because the health of the nation is a national imperative, the health of the people. So you need to have schemes that provide equitable access to all. It's not that people with money have access to the best facilities. That's absolutely the wrong thing to do. So again, health is a big one. And we'll talk about this. But the key thing about this approach is that you have the ability to leverage these systems and go into a path of what is called nonlinear growth. If you just did the same thing that you did, you would get incremental benefits. But by using and learning from other countries, having access to these systems, you can just leapfrog what used to happen. Same, fixed lines. I grew up in India, right? To get a fixed telephone line was almost a huge celebratory event at home, because the waiting period would be about 6 years, 7 years. I kid you not. Right? The first time we got a phone was when I was about 14 years old. And it was bigger than my birthday, by the way. And we didn't celebrate birthdays that much. But yeah, bigger than any other celebration you could think. Yeah. So what happened was the mobile phone came. So you completely leapfrogged. You don't need fixed line phones anymore. So these technologies give you the ability to leapfrog. So no country needs to feel that they've been left behind. because you now have an advantage over countries who build systems that are suddenly now become legacy. So this nonlinear change can happen exponentially. So what would take you 10 years would take you 2 years now, because you've got access to these systems, you've got access to the people who implemented these systems, and it's got real actual data on GDP growth, right? And I mean, all these statistics are there. But let me talk about the India story. And by the way, let me also be very, very clear, while these are all examples on India, this is happening worldwide, and it can happen, and it must happen in PNG, right? Because the principles are the same. The availability of all of this for countries to use is there. So it's just about looking at some of these examples, but like I said, it is not about India as a country or any other country for the matter. Singapore, I live in Singapore, and Singapore has a very, very similar approach of making sure that anything is done benefits the citizen, right? But the same approaches are the same. But the India story is remarkable for that one reason, right? India about in let's say 2010 probably had 30% or even less of its people having a bank account. In today, 2024, you probably have 95% of people owning bank accounts. And there was a World Economic Forum and World Bank study. If India had gone the normal way without using, the DPIs, it would have taken them 38 years to get to 95%. We are there today, starting 2015, 2016. 2016 to 2024. Look at that. 38 years, 8 years. That's the kind of exponential change that these systems can have. So I've explained a bit of it, but just to come and put it in a much more representative way, you have 3 foundational layers of DPIs, and I'll use that term broadly. Yeah? First is the identity, the digital identity. Who am I? Just that simple question. But a system implementing that and giving an answer in a digital form. I have an API, I call the API, it comes back to me and says, yep, you are whom you claim what you are. Okay? The second thing is the payments layer, we talked about it, and payments is simply a huge enabler. And the third one, which is very, very important in these systems, is these are all very, very sensitive data. So how do we share the data? How do we store the data? How do we secure the data and make sure that the data stays within that country? Because a lot of this data cannot leave the country. So there's a data layer, there's governance policies around the data, and in today's world, it is an individual that owns the data. It should not be a platform that takes your data and sells it so that they can make money out of the data. You as an individual should have the ability to give consent to whoever wants access to the data. So the consent layer becomes very important. Why should some other company profit out of you? You're not the product. You should not be the product. So you give consent. You want a bank loan, you go to an online application, somebody says, I can give you the bank loan, can you upload all this data or can you provide me this information? And I will tell them I can provide this information for 1 week, after which I will revoke consent because it's my data. Yeah? So it's that important, and these are things that government and policymakers can do very, very well. The platforms, people like us, will go out and do that well. Yeah? Now, the good thing about DPIs is it's also built on 2 other principles. One is open and open source. Not everything is open source, but it's open, which means I can call an API, which is exposed, I can get a response. Second, there's open source, which means I can take whatever is there, and we'll talk about education in a bit. You can take it and implement it in your country. There are no licensing issues because it's all completely open for anybody to use. And that's why it's called a public good, right? Just like we talked about GPS. These are software systems that can take there. Yeah? And interoperability. DPIs, for example, there'll be multiple DPIs, and they're all software platforms or software stacks. They can be independent or they can interoperate. Okay? So, it's like a highway. There can be 2 highways that may never connect. Or they can be highways that connect in some major city and take people in different directions. So they are independent systems, but they're also interoperable because they're well-defined software mechanisms of how to access, share, so on, right? And trust and content we talked about. So these are all very founding or foundational principles of DPIs. Yeah? And here's the proof points. Again, this is where India is going. So once that journey began in 2009, you've seen that effect on the economy and the people. It's literally lifted hundreds of millions of people out of poverty because it's fair, it's equitable, right? So now the whole idea is building sectoral DPIs for agriculture, for education, for logistics, for procurement and everything. So on the same foundational principles of what you saw on those identity, payments, and data sharing layer. Right? Again, these are all independent, but yes, they can all share data, and that's the power. Why? Because this data is not just for use for governments. It again opens it up for the private sector to innovate on top of this. And that's really the lesson. Same, when people said GPS is a public good, they had no idea of what use cases would come. They just said, yep, it's available. And the private industry did what it does best. Innovate at rapid pace, and everybody benefited. Yeah, so that's exactly, you're going to see this theme recur in this presentation. Yeah, again, if you go back to what the Prime Minister, when I asked the question on PNG's Prime Minister's vision, talked about ecological impact, it talked about financial inclusion, and that's really what all of this does. There are real numbers, real impact to GDP. If you look at where it can go, you can increase. I mean, there are different models, but the models show that GDP can increase by 2 points up to 4 points or even more, conservatively. Yeah? And that's all based on the same principles. Right? Financial inclusion, big one, big one. Yeah? And the nice thing about this is also trust in the government. Most people don't trust their governments. Right? But today, when I live in Singapore and I need to do something and somebody asks for my digital ID, and I know it's obviously coming from a trusted source, I share, because I trust that the government maintains it in a very secure, sovereign infrastructure, like what we're talking about with Alloy, working with DataCo here. Right? And once that trust comes, magic happens. Once people believe in the government and they know that the government is doing, yes, there's the usual politics, but if they believe that the government is doing things that are going to benefit them, they will open up. And that's the key part of this. And there will be sectoral opportunities. Payments has opened up, and this is a 2019 report from McKinsey. 170 billion in financial services and innovation around that. So every sector has opened up. And they'll all go at their own pace. Not everybody's going to go, not all kids are alike. They all have different, ways of growing up. And they'll all turn out well, finally, right? Just like that, there's going to be reform in every sector. And we see that happening in real terms. The thing is, when it happens, it's again back to that non-linear growth. It's exponential, it's not incremental. And that's exactly what digitization does for economies. Everybody's skeptical. First, there's going to be lots of learning. You're going to say, this does not work, that doesn't work. But when it starts working, like what payments did in India, that's it. Economies just change. Okay? So finance is one example. And here's what I talked about, right? If you looked at 2018, there were about 5 transactions per 100 people using digital forms of payment. This is the figure on the right, which is almost green, is 2021 data, 1,300 transactions per 100. And I can guarantee you that that number is probably tripled today, right? And that's what it does. Why? Because few things happen. The basic stuff which was around the DPI's identity and all of that was set up. The payment infrastructure was set up. There were national bodies set up to manage this. Second, the whole revolution around mobile phones happened. Data, the cost of data dramatically decreased, which means anybody could use their mobile phones and not end up with a big bill. And that enabled people to digitally transact. So these are all forces that interplay and give you that cause and effect, right? And now it's just, that's the way people do things. It's very soon, in 2 years' time, the mobile payments is probably going to account for 70 to 80% of all payments in India. Right? And look at that. That's what we talked about, exponential change. Right? We're playing this? Right, yeah. So this is an example. Let's see if this can, oops, sorry. It's not playing for some. Yeah, I don't know. We've got the video here, it's supposed to play, but. Okay, I'll just talk about this use case. It's just moving, it's not playing for some reason, but anyway. So this is an example of what happens in innovation. There's two companies. This is a co-lending platform called UB working on OCI today. And they actually don't offer loans. They actually broker loans through different financial institutions and offer loans to micro and small and medium enterprises, MSMEs. But they actually don't. We'll try and play? Okay. But no, okay, it's not working, yeah. So, but what they do is, the way they do and the way they build their platform is they use the underlying foundational blocks. I don't need to physically, I don't need to physically verify somebody. I just use the digital identity, make an API call, I get verification done, which means in a country like the size of India or the complexity of PNG, right? Sorry. The complexity of PNG, you don't need to physically go out and send people, collect documents, come back. Imagine the amount of time and effort and cost when all of this can be done digitally. So then on top of it, they add their innovation. And that's now completely running on OCI today, and they're going to they're taking it to multiple banks. The second example is India's largest stockbroker. Same thing, same principles. They use the underlying APIs of identity, know your KYC. I'm not sure how popular that acronym is here. KYC stands for Know Your Customer. And again, it's just about verifying whether this customer has the right properties. Are they creditworthy? Are they so on and so forth, right? So identity, KYC form that building blocks of verification in the financial sector. And again, it's enabled, this is India's largest online stockbroker. They are a unicorn company, which means they're more than $1 billion in valuation, very profitable from day zero, literally. Yeah? And they're all built on foundations of DPI. Is it government owned? No. This is what private enterprise does, really innovates on top. And the process of getting somebody enabled and starting to trade completely reduced from what used to be a manual process of about 30, 40, 60 days into literally hours or a couple of days. Yeah? Education, again, is one, I think it's a passionate topic for most of us because that defines what the future of a nation is. And this is another platform which is India's largest, in fact, the world's largest K1 to K12 education platform. It's called Diksha. And this is used by the government of India across all schools, public schools, in all states, in 36 different languages. And more importantly, it brings the key elements of the ecosystem together. The policymakers, which are the educators. Second, the teachers. Third, the students. And fourth, the parents. They all go into this platform and they start looking at, how you can shape the lives of the children. So it's a very, involved process. And the good thing about it is it's all digital. One key thing is books. Books used to be printed, they're still printed. But now when you digitize them, what they did very smartly was they put a QR code on the book. Right? And once you scan a QR code, you can actually put it for every chapter. And somebody just points, it opens up the chapter, and look at what you can do. For example, with AI, you can offer the children a very personalized and immersive experience. Very different, even though it's the same textbook. And imagine the cost. If there's an error in the textbook, in the past you'd have to correct that error in a country the size of India, is a lot of money, right? So sometimes they leave the error in there, and that becomes history. Yeah? So that's how history is born, right? It's just the cost of correcting an error. Yeah? But now you have a digital textbook. You just change it once. Done. Yeah? That's the power of education. So Again, this is a platform that India has offered to the world for public good. It's based on a platform called Sunbird. The platform that India uses is called Diksha, but the underlying digital public software is called Sunbird. We'll show some of that as well. Yeah. And this is an example of education.
Our country's aspirations to modern education can be easily summarized into key values and visionary messages for schools to follow. But as they flow and adapt down the chain into 4 regions, 22 provinces, and 187 schools, your education vision breaks down into an overwhelming amount of data points, tracking a variety of region-based KPIs. This data forms a core component of decision-making, but your reports must also emit empathy and understanding of the persona in stakeholder communications. Oracle Cloud's digital analytics tools, empowered by artificial intelligence, will help education departments keep track of data in a visually intuitive way. Drilling down from a top-level perspective of state and district, all the way down to grassroots level, at classroom level and children categories. Making data-driven decisions on human development indicators is a complex, socially sensitive, and organizationally difficult area. Being aware of this, we have made select OCI analytics interpretable on the spot in natural language, with generative AI features, turning cold numbers into actionable insights for decision makers and stakeholders. Schools can easily understand in what areas they need to focus, for better aligning with the national KPI, while also upholding their cultural identity, with setting up and tracking region-based performance indicators. By being in control of such a fine-grained database, it's easy to identify root causes of issues, or to understand the factors behind education successes, to replicate them across the board in the future. Agents and AI assistants based on Oracle Gen AI services can further enhance administrators and the ability of teachers to provide empathetic and domain knowledge-based action or responses to insights shown by data. This is how Oracle Cloud features will empower educators to spend significantly less time on technology plumbing and focus more on program designs, monitoring and amplifying outcomes with personalized and customized experiences. Your young generation is looking up to a prosperous future, and the skies are clear under a single guiding cloud.
That's powerful, right? And education is something that's so foundational and so fundamental to every country. And having, things set up is really, really the way to go. Same thing for healthcare, right? You have these foundational platforms where you have, based on your national ID, you can have a patient ID, or you can have a doctor ID, or you can have a pharmacy ID, all of them digital, and all of them collaborating in this ecosystem. So that when a patient needs health, there can be telemedicine systems that can be set up where doctors are registered on the platform. All they can do is get the potential patient on a call. If it's something simple, dispense and say, look, just go to this pharmacy because that pharmacy is part of the platform, and they can get the medicines delivered to their house. And here you're taking health to the citizen. Doesn't matter whether the citizen is rich, poor. No, it's not. It does not. And that's, again, a great example of how you provide equitable access to healthcare. Same on insurance and many other things. But if you look at it, it's the same process. You have a foundational layer of identity. On top of it, you have a functional identity like your patient ID or your provider ID or your doctor ID. And then you have a data sharing layer because this is obviously health. You want to protect your data. And then you have the innovation on top of it. So you have all of these startups building very, very innovative solutions, right? So you're going to see this recurring theme of the platform providing the capabilities. You're going to have data and consent, and then you're going to have innovative layers that the private players and the startups and the ecosystem can bring to the table. Yeah. And this is an example of eSanjeevani, which is the telemedicine platform. Again, you have doctors across the country, and that's the thing, right? You don't need to have a doctor in that location or a provider in that location. This is a national digital platform. And this is an example of how something can be done.
Once the scan of the diabetic retinopathy or an eye scan comes in place. So first, the doctor will choose the image to upload. Once they have chosen it, we'll click on upload and the image will be uploaded. Once that's done, we'll be able to process the image. To do so, do the exact same thing as what we did earlier. Upload the image, click on post, and refresh to get whether this eye scan has diabetic retinopathy or not. And you can see over here the results. And this patient has diabetic retinopathy in the moderate stage and will require surgery. Once the patient knows that he or she requires surgery, he can filter the hospital to go to based on province and the specialization type. And they can now click on the hospital that they would like to make an appointment with and confirm the appointment accordingly.
Transforms thing, right? Nobody needs to go anywhere unless they have to. That's as simple as that. Yeah? Same with agriculture. Again, I won't go through this. It's the same foundation principles, software stacks, layers on top of it, interoperable, and then innovation happening on top. And here's how agriculture is being transformed.
Human progress moved hand in hand with the evolution of agricultural tools. Each improvement in the craft of utensils translated into a higher quality of life for the farmers, as well as increasing crop yields for a humanity hungry for both food and knowledge. Today, the cloud and AI technologies are empowering farmers, pioneering a path for modern agriculture across the world. Under the government's initiative, such a simple step forward is showing multiple benefits compared to present methods. Training the rural societies about the usage, operation, and maintenance of drones in agriculture brought modern agriculture to the furthest regions and bridged the gap of inclusivity. Spraying fertilizers from the air avoids the farmer's exposure to chemicals that would have usually been sprayed by hand pumps. Far from a simple tech trend, high-tech drone solutions for agriculture directly translate into benefits for the farmers and the community, as proven in India's IFFCO's Namo drone DT program. Thanks to Oracle Cloud Infrastructure Solutions, in the future, videos can be analyzed for crop health parameters, such as bugs or diseases, enabling farmers to choose the best course of action for crop development. It is said that being a farmer means shaking hands with nature. Let us also shake hands in partnership to support Papua New Guinea's ambition for innovative, sustainable, and progressive rural entrepreneurship.
The cool thing about the story is not the technology, right? The women operating the drones are actually housewives in the village. And traditionally, housewives were just told to do few things. Take care of the children, take care of cooking, that's it. Now imagine the power they have and the empowerment they have when they're taught to operate drones. And this is again running on OCI. And it started off with 1,000 drones. Now they're expanding it to 2,500 drones. And look at the benefits it offers to the rural farmers, to the people in the villages, where women now have the pride and employability also to do this. So inclusion is the big theme here, and I love it. And women empowerment, right? Same thing with logistics, fleet management. Again, same story. You have foundational layers, you have interoperable layers, you have data sharing so that you can start monitoring the health of the logistics sector, whether it's warehouses, whether it's trucks, whether it's the entire supply chain. All of this becomes part of that platform. And there are many government agencies working together, right? So if you look at the theme here, one, of course, you're seeing software platforms, both independent and interoperable and open. Second, you're also seeing innovation. Innovation being done by the private players, right? And this creates huge ecosystems of prosperity, right? And you see all that venture capital money flowing into these sectors, whether it's agri-tech, edu-tech, you name it. Suffix a tech to it and you have a sectoral ability to go out and innovate there, right? So that's what it does. And every player in the ecosystem is important. From our partner, DataCo, who's going to provide managed services for this, to system integrators who are going to implement these solutions, to vendors like Oracle who are going to provide that robust, sovereign, secure platform, and also provide centers of excellence where we can share our knowledge, to the individual citizen and the government. So everyone benefits in this. Right? All this is good. Where do we begin? And that's really what we talk about. it's not just about technology, it's about how do we bring these systems together. So there are a lot of global not-for-profit or non-profit organizations, very, very well-known ones. We have, the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. We have EkStep, which is a foundation in India that started the digital identity and the educational platform Diksha. And this is where we can combine and create joint centers of excellence. Stephen was talking about that multiple times in his presentation. And this is a center of excellence just not about technology, but how do we bring all of this expertise together from end-to-end implementation of these systems on the Oracle Cloud, on Alloy, or working with DataCo here, right? And that's the whole theme here. The thing is, you don't need to do everything from scratch because you've got existing systems, and I know many of you have been using these systems for many years. It's hard to change them overnight. Take what you have, but don't forget to modernize. When you bring it over, you're only again getting incremental benefits, some cost benefits. Okay, yes, little bit of performance because hardware is better, but aim for non-linear growth, which means when you modernize, you get non-linear benefits as well. So when you bring it over, don't just say, I'm moving it from A to B. You're just moving tin. But move the systems with the thought of modernizing it, however long it takes. Yeah? And an example of this is, again, Diksha, the education system. We come back to that. It's built out of modular building blocks on a platform called Sunbird, open source. Any one of you can download, use it, and create an educational system out of it. And you don't need to use everything on day one. You choose what is important for the need that you have in that education system. You can create e-textbooks, you can create QR codes, and all of that. Yeah? What we can do in the COE is we can work with these DPI vendors and say, look, skills are not there today. And as you take these Oracle University courses, ramp up on OCI, we'll help you automate it so that you don't need to be OCI experts on day one. At some point you will. You'll probably teach us better on how OCI can be used. But till then, we are there as an investment to guide you. We'll provide automation to help you go out and deploy that on OCI. And that's what we can do. And here's an example. And there's a surprise at the end, and I'll wait for that. But take a look at this of what the education portal that Sunbird delivers, right? So here you can log in. You can log in again with a different profile, whether you're a student, you're a teacher, or you're a parent as well. And as you can see in the portal, there's all information that we gathered from public sources in PNG. So there's news, there's calendars, there's textbooks, and everything that a portal, when you land on its landing page, should have, right? And there's obviously the modern world, you can't have things without a video, so most people go out and watch a video. And more importantly, you can access this with a mobile device, right? And then when you look at it, there's all these textbooks that are there in PDF format that we've taken and ingested it into the system so that you can go out and choose based on subject, based on content type, based on whether it's a topic or whether it's an exam, and you can choose which subject you want. And the good thing is all of these are available, and like I said, you can do really, really cool things with it as you digitize more and more. Like I said, you can embed QR codes, you can go out and add immersive experiences through AI, you can link it to videos, so on and so forth, right? And then you can go by grade, you can look at, in this example, there's this mathematics paper. I believe, if I remember right, it's 193 pages, right? Try going through that. Thankfully, I'm past that stage where I need to do mathematics, but if it's on a digitized format, and if I use AI to start talking to it, imagine the fun that the student is going to have, as opposed to saying, go to page 147 of this textbook and come up with an answer, right? Rather than that, look at some fun ways on how you can interact with this platform. So digitization really has a profound impact on how children will have fun learning. And at the same time, it also provides a platform for teachers. Because don't forget, teachers need to be enabled as well. So it's the same platform that students learn from is where the teachers can be enabled as well. How do I add content to this? How do I add a QR code to this? And this is what teachers and administrators need to do on the platform, right? And all of this, we set it up in about a week, last week. Like I said, I just knew 3 weeks ago that I might have actually be here. So my team, came out and put this out in less than a week. We started about last week. And this obviously by no means is a production grade comprehensive system, but the fact that we can get it up and running with the DPIs, that's the fundamental thing here, right? And the good thing is, as we go along, you can also, where I said, you can embed AI in it. And this actually comes with an AI assistant that is, again, available as open source that you can start implementing. So you can ask it questions like, oh, can you suggest 2 fun topics in English? And English was not my favorite subject at school, right? And I don't know what fun things you can do with English, but that's my personal opinion. Right? But if you ask an AI assistant, which obviously knows a lot more than me, the AI assistant can actually send you some topics. But the important thing here is, because education is a sensitive topic, you need to make sure that whatever goes to the children is information that you really want go. So which means that's where the educator, the policymaker play an important role in saying, look, I don't want anything beyond these set of textbooks or resources that the AI should be able to answer. If it's beyond that, the AI should politely say, that's all I know. And that's the important thing. AI is a tool. It's got to be used wisely. So same mathematics, yeah? And I'm just looking at time. I'll probably skip this. I'll let the query run for a second. But again, it's going to talk about what can I teach for mathematics between the grades 3 to 8, and gives you a list of different topics on what you can do. Right? And that's the power of digitizing a system, ingesting content, and expanding it as the use cases grow. Right? Now, this is the fun part. And I'm going to invite all of you, because what I showed you was not just a PowerPoint. It's real. So join me in just scanning this QR code. And when you scan this QR code, click on the URL. And hopefully, and if it doesn't, if it's slow, reload it again, please. It's, like I said, it's just a platform that was built in a week. But after that, you should get this page that I just showed you. And you can browse to the portal. You can ask Tisa a few questions on that bot. Did everybody get this? Yeah, scan the QR code, and hopefully you should see a page like this. If it's slow, please reload it again. Yes, I can see. Yep, cool. That's cool. All right, that's cool. Just open it in a browser. I think most of you have done it. And we can talk to this after that also. But this is the really important part. And I'll echo what Paul said in the beginning. This is a journey. This is a partnership. And you are the nation builders. Right? So believe in the journey. Yes, it's not a straight path. But once you believe in it, once you're passionate in it, you are going to define the future of PNG for generations. And that's the pride that I really want to leave all of you in the room with. The fact that the journey begins today, and it's going to happen, and that is going to, we all wish, lead to prosperity for everyone in PNG. And for that, Oracle and PNG are proud to be part of this effort. We are the enablers. Thank you so much for listening to this. Hopefully, this was useful to you.
Thank you, Mohan. Thank you, Mohan. I've seen that 3 times today, and I've always learned something new. I think we have the benefit of a screen here that I can see what's going on. Is the microphone working? Great. As mentioned, now, all of that vision, all of that future, and all of that capability needs to run somewhere. So I'm going to walk you through very quickly on what's going to run on, the power of Oracle Cloud, the power of the partnership that we have with Oracle Cloud and DataCo, and at the end, how we're going to enable the nation, starting with everyone here. The problem that we've seen to date, even though cloud has been around for over 17 years, 15, 17 years, only 30% of those workloads have moved to cloud. And that is because customers tell us time and time again, there has not been a solution that can meet our actual business problems. And those actual business problems are the ones that need to be sorted out in PNG. And sometimes you need to sort those out with an in-country cloud solution, which is what we're going to deliver. But what is the Oracle Cloud, you might be asking? You may think of Oracle Cloud as just an Oracle database environment. No, it isn't. For us, the Oracle Cloud is a collection of applications and infrastructure. Today, Mohan talked a lot about open source applications. Applications that are built on digital public goods. They need to run on cloud infrastructure. They need to run on infrastructure that will be delivered by DataCo here in PNG. For us, just so we're on the same page, the cloud is really just a collection of services, networks, storage, and likewise operated by somebody else. And historically, those clouds have been categorized into 3 different sections. Infrastructure clouds, enterprise application clouds, Salesforce, for example, Workday, industry application, such as Micros. Some of you have seen Micros in the hotels and restaurants, Cerner from a healthcare perspective. What's happened, though, is that these clouds have been developed in an isolated, unconnected way. At Oracle, we believe, and what we deliver, is a unified cloud that brings enterprise applications, industry applications, and infrastructure together to cohesively deliver the power that Mohan talked about, to cohesively deliver solutions where you can bring in a VMware workload, a third-party ISV workload, one of your custom-built solutions. You can deploy them, augment them, bring AI into that as well. You can either take the AI that's built into the application, or you can build your own using the AI tools that will be available in the DataCo cloud. Having a unified cloud, and with our strategy of building our cloud as compact as possible so we can deploy them anywhere in the world, it gives customers and gives partners choices to deploy. Here, organizations can look to deploy them in their organizations, as I'll show you later on, or you can deploy them within your nation, such as PNG here. The extensibility and the governance and control across all those clouds is what actually gives you that security, that peace of mind, and that notion that you'll get all the services available through to you. Having a unified cloud doesn't really work unless those parts are great in their own right. And this is where, as I talked to earlier, OCI has been used for many, many workloads. But let me show you some of the customers that are using these workloads and these platforms as well. The Premier League, I love soccer. And we're very proud. Every time my kids think I'm cool now because every time they watch a football game and they see the Oracle logo on the screen, they associate that I now provided solutions for soccer. But NVIDIA, the AI solutions are all built on Oracle infrastructure. Uber, when they moved from on-premises to the cloud, had a choice of any hyperscaler around the world. But they needed to grow by 20%. And when you're doing 2.5 billion ride shares around the world and you have to grow by 20%, you need a partner that can scale with you, that can also grow with you and give you the cost economics to actually meet your demands here. That same platform, that same technology that's powering Uber, the Premier League, Mosaic, will be here in PNG with DataCo Cloud as well. And then you can start to see organizations such as telecommunication organizations, logistics organizations using our platform. More importantly, governments, Oman government, using solutions such as what PNG DataCo will have to deliver in-country sovereign platforms as well. Now, Oracle has been known, as I mentioned before, for Oracle database for many years. In fact, 47 years to be exact. But Oracle Cloud is not just around the Oracle software stack. As Mohan mentioned, the DPIs that you will be using to build your government solutions, your startup services, are all going to require and will all leverage open source technology. And that is where we see the biggest power of OCI, being able to straddle both sides of the enterprise and the open source environment and bring them together. This is where you start to see the building blocks that you can use for your own organizations and for government to actually start to architect solutions for your environment. You may start by bringing a VMware workload natively to DataCo. You don't need to change any of your security, your networking infrastructure when you do it on OCI. You may bring your Oracle databases and upgrade them to the latest version, get access to 23 AI, which is the latest solution that we released last week. Or you can bring, as I mentioned, your ISV applications. Now, on what you see on the screen here is how we've mapped our solutions, because quite logically, into the government stack for the future. Now, you can replace a government stack to be your own stack for your own organization. But you can see naturally how all the layers fit and can cater for all the workloads whilst providing the cybersecurity end-to-end across that stack. You know, the clouds will provide you with SOC compliance, ISO compliance, CSA cloud securities, and we will also work with you to develop whatever additional compliance requirements are required here, and DataCo will partner you with that. As I talked about, from a multi-cloud perspective, it's about delivering either bringing the cloud to where you need it. And we feel that at the moment, you need it here in PNG, and we're able to do that. But we are doing this across the world. We have over 69 cloud regions across the world. 48 of those are public. The rest are private clouds or government clouds, like we are building out here, where they're dedicated to each region. What's unique about our strategy is that every one of these regions are identical in terms of services, capability, security. So the organizations are not getting cut down versions of our services. They're getting the full services delivered locally via a local partner. For example, in our dedicated region that you've heard before, I can show you customers such as Vodafone in Europe, using dedicated region to transform its data centers and deployments around the European nation. NRI, supporting the Japan Stock Exchange. Oman Group, delivering government solutions. And Bangladesh. I'd like to show you a video of Honourable Minister Palek, the ICT Minister for Bangladesh, on how and why they selected Oracle for their cloud. It actually launched it on the 6th of May this year.
We are a country of 170 million people, and we have 50 ministries and more than 300 government organizations and so many government companies. And they have a requirement of storing their data, processing their data, host their websites and different solutions and platforms. And that is why Honorable Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina decided to set up a government data center. There is a trust problem, an issue among the citizens when we are requesting our citizens to access our government services. They are asking for their security and their reliability. That was the challenge in our data center. And after having the Oracle Cloud in our data center, now government services are much more simplified. We chose dedicated region cloud at customer because there was an issue to secure our data and protect our citizens' information. And after having this dedicated region cloud at customer, we have been able to protect our sensitive data of the government and also secure our citizens' privacy, and we have been able to localize our data in our country's territory. We are transforming all of our government initiatives and solutions powered by AI tools under the Smart Government Initiative. We want to make all of our services interoperable and interconnected. Every citizen should have access to all of our government services, and that is why we decided to have Oracle Cloud to make all of our services agile, efficient, and secure.
So you can see PNG is following in great footsteps. Not only it's able to leverage and learn from what others have done, you can also foster new economies here in PNG as well. What's not shown here is that now that the Bangladesh people and the industry understands that there's going to be cloud services in Bangladesh for government, there's a new startup of organizations developing solutions to cater for those government departments as well. Now, we've heard the name Alloy, and Alloy, it really is the culmination of Oracle Cloud being able to be delivered through a business partner, DataCo in this case. But DataCo is not the only one, as I mentioned. Fujitsu is doing this in Japan. They announced it about 4 weeks ago. In New Zealand, we're working with a company called Team IM, who's delivering Oracle Cloud services directly to New Zealand. Because we feel that New Zealanders have their own identity. They want local support. They want local services and service providers catering for them, that's what Team Cloud's going to provide to them. Saudi Arabia, providing services through the telecommunications partners there as well. And many, many more that I can't show you here, but are going down this path to deliver local sovereign services to their citizens or to their customers as well. But if I may, you may be wondering, what about education? How are we going to be able to learn how to deliver these solutions? How are we going to train our staff? Stephen alluded to this earlier today. Our job here is not only to provide technology and solutions, but also to empower the digital nation through a skills program that we are bringing to PNG here. Our objective here is to partner with PNG government and the ICT community to enable digital transformations and better deliver government to citizens, government to business, and government to government solutions. And we're going to do this in real time through the use of technology as well. So our approach is not a unique approach to PNG. We're doing this across the world. So to date, we are delivering services across multiple facets. Our programs include, and will include here in PNG, high school STEM programs to help our grade 11, 12, and possibly even years 10 and 9, depending on the adoption, to improve the digital literacy program. We're working with universities to deliver our training courses free of charge through our platforms to the higher educations, to the polytechnics solutions as well. And with DataCo, we'll also be making these solutions and training available to the commercial enterprises in PNG through a commercial construct with DataCo as well. This Global Skills Program is targeting at delivering the right technical solutions to meet the current and future needs in terms of technology. Stephen's talked about the jobs networks that this would help to create. So now when you want to deploy a drone and have code coming for your farmers, or you want to have visual inspections of your field to certify them as organic through tracking of data, that requires AI, machine learning, data scientists, and that your people, your students, your staff can learn using the Oracle platform. This Oracle platform will not only give them the opportunity to subscribe to and learn the content, it will also allow them to promote themselves for future employment opportunities. And this is where you can get access to digital labs, live events, and start to search the entire stack of Oracle information. And we're working with the local institutions to deliver this at scale within PNG. So far, we're delivering this to about 2.2 million students. So far, you can see that we've started with cloud infrastructure, and there's been a huge uptake. AI, it's less than a 12-month activity, but we're going to see the AI numbers grow exponentially here in terms of education. Now, these national skills programs, we have started to deploy them across India, Morocco, Saudi, UK, supporting the Ukrainian citizens. In Singapore, we announced a couple of weeks ago how we're helping to educate 10,000 skilled students. We're also going to do that in PNG as well. So we feel that there's very key pathways around infrastructure, artificial intelligence, security, data management, application development. And we can start with very foundational training all the way through to advanced and expert skills. And we will do this in actual learning streams, learning areas, where we can take your existing workforce and educate them, or work very much grassroots at high school educational level and bringing them up as well. The platform will cater for all of that. And here we are speaking with many, many of our partners. With DataCo, we will have a portal that your staff, your students can come in, log in, and start to consume the information. And then you'll have enough reporting to understand which courses are more difficult for them, where should we spend more time in developing the training material, and give you analytics for your teams as well. Our partnership here starts with DICT, and the Minister is very, very committed to ensuring that we enable the nation. We need partners such as DataCo to deliver this, and we need the local universities, polytechnic, and training institutes to come together to leverage this free resource that's going to empower and fuel the your growth in the digital economy. So it gives me great pleasure to thank DataCo for everything that they've done for our visit here, for you who have listened to us for the last couple of hours, and everyone online. The future for PNG, as Mohan put it, starts today. This is where your dreams, your visions can start to take shape, and reality will happen once the cloud is here. But you can start today, and you can start to deploy them on Oracle Cloud. So Paul, I'd like to thank you again. Thank you to the DataCo team, Chairman, Government of PNG. This has been a great opportunity for us to collaborate, learn, and we'll be here for any questions you may have with us. I want to pass over to MC to close up and wrap up, and we'll give you the time.
Once again, many thanks on the presentation by our esteemed panel this morning. As always, the potential being shown, and I hope everyone's gained an insight into this partnership and, of course, the potential it has as well. Once again, acknowledging our viewers on the wider platforms on our Facebook page, the official Facebook page of PNG DataCo Limited, and also on our YouTube channel as well for PNG DataCo Limited. As per our sessions, I now give the final word to our CEO, Chief Paul Comboy, to give the closing remarks as we end this session.
Thank you, everyone. Once again, especially our partners who are here, Steve, Carlos, and Mohan. We really, had the privilege of having you here to, talk to us and explain to us in detail what this partnership is about. For my closing remarks, I've got 3 areas I want to touch on. But before I do that, I'd just like to share maybe my passion in terms of the games. I had Mohammed speak about cricket and rugby, and Carlos a little bit about what I'm also into, and also Steve, rugby. Yeah? I'm a football man. Football meaning soccer. Yeah. And I am privileged to see 2 of my teammates here, colleagues, one from the schoolboys and one the senior men. Thank you for coming. And I won't brag about soccer, but I think you've seen what Oracle has done with English Premier League. Yeah? I think the people in football wants to push the boundaries every now and then. That's why I think millions and millions, 100 millions of people watch football around the world. Thanks to Oracle from being behind this. We were in Singapore. I had the privilege to be with my chairman and Secretary Mataino, and Register General for NID and Chairman of NICTA, Mr. Mobia, and David also. We were there, and we saw, the background around what English Premier League, big data analytics is about. And of course, I had to go up and ask them, can I use this in PNG as well? The technology behind it. Yeah, but they told me it was owned by EPL, so yeah, it's not an open source, but maybe we are getting there. But we had the privilege to listen to the CEO of Oracle speak, Safra Katz, and also the Singaporean communication minister. There were some important key messages that came out from there. I think with Oracle, I learned that they are now focusing on the relationship between them and their partners, their customers, in what they are doing. And in relationship, all they are asking from us now is our time. Whether we have the time to commit ourselves, dedicate ourselves to be able to let them know what our situation is, our circumstances, our problems, challenges, and they can help us to solve those issues and overcome those challenges. So in this journey, we are now beginning. They've been very aggressive on us. We started off last year, but since the beginning of January, we had a minimum of 3 days engagement with Oracle. That's how aggressive they are. And they really mean business. They're serious about coming here and partnering with us in PNG. So the same I will extend to you. They need our time, our dedication. Then they can help us accelerate this digital transformation that we are trying to push in our country together. So that's number one. Number two, I think the key feature that they bring is all about data now. Data is the new oil, they say, yeah? It's a very valuable resource in our time now, in this digital age, in current and going towards the future. It fuels decision-making, information, and also, importantly, technologies. And with that, now comes great responsibility, meaning that we need to have protection, in our sensitive data. That means privacy, sovereignty, and importantly, security. If we can have control over that, and with our consent, make it accessible to others to be able to use or store it offshore for protection purpose, then the destiny is ours. So we need to protect that very valuable resource now of data in PNG. And our natural resources, we've got diversity in all sorts of things, doing research and stuff like that. That needs to be protected. IP needs to come in to play here. So that's the key message I want you to take away as well. And the final message is that partnership in this journey. Yeah? We started off today. For you individually, you need to come forward, start to take that first step. It's not going to be easy, but you need to take that first step. It's challenging. See where you are now. Do you have your financial systems or HR system online? Do you need that better connectivity? We can be able to help you. Mohammed spoke about those digital public infrastructure. We call it shared infrastructure. That was the concept DataCo and the PNG government have been driving all along. Through our submarine cables, we want to share, bring in economies of scale so we reduce the cost. Huh? We've done it in the infrastructure. Now we're moving into the space of soft technology now, which they have spoken about. There's open source that are there, and you've already innovated in your own space. You can bring them on board onto this infrastructure, this cloud alloy platform that we're bringing in partnership with Oracle, to be able to make it available to you, and then we share the cost again. And those over-the-top applications, those platform applications that are open source, that you can be able to access it. They've demonstrated it already. It's for free. So let's harness this potential that is out there, the opportunity, and become a valuable partner in this and contribute to our nation's development together in this journey. The big cloud is here, and I like what the MC has mentioned. When the cloud comes, we all wish for rain. And when it rains, people benefit from it. So hopefully, that rain, we will all benefit. Let's shower from the big clouds that will come. Thank you again, my partners, for being here with us. This is not going to be your last. I know you will be back again. They're always going to be fingertips away to us and to you as well. So thank you very much. And then hopefully you've enjoyed that time with us. Thank you.
Very much, Chief Paul Comboy, our CEO for PNG DataCo Limited. With that being said, as we end our proceedings, to, of course, our visitors from Oracle, our partners, pardon me, I hope your time here has been a memorable one. Looking forward to working with you, and I do hope you take something away from Papua New Guinea in this case. And since both Carlos and Steve happen to be already have teams. I think Mohan seems to be the one that's left out. So Mohan, I hope you pick an NRL team, but if you're sticking with cricket, I'm just letting you know. The PNG Barramundis will be traveling, have the teams been announced? They'll be traveling to the West Indies and the US on the 13th to take part in the ICC T20 series. So if you are rooting for any cricket teams, I hope you spare a thought for the Barramundis. With that being said, thank you everyone for your patience and of course your attention. And I hope you join us in this journey that shows a lot of promise, a lot of potential. And as our CEO said, as a big cloud coming, and I hope you can get in there early, register your interest early, so you can reap the benefits when the rain starts pouring down in this case. With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for the last 2 days of this event. And just a reminder, straight after this event, we'll be having a bit of tea. And with that being said, for those who have been invited to the closed-door panel on the Quick Wins Government Stack meeting, please do stay around for that, and I do attend those, and also the review Oracle visit regarding the Agri Actions Arising. Please do take note of, if you are invited, to do make your way across those rooms. And for those who would like copies of the presentation, just informing you that if you haven't put your email addresses in the registration area, please do so that a copy of the presentation may be sent to you. With that being said, do not hesitate to get in touch with either one of our presenters and even our chief himself regarding our presentations this morning. With that being said, have a top day, have a blessed weekend as well. God bless you all, and again, take advantage of this big cloud that's coming. Thank you, everyone.